Workers are removing the beige-colored stucco, a plaster-like material installed on the building in the 1950s. They're trying to get the building back down to its original brick facade. Well, good morning to you from Bozeman. I can tell you, driving down 19th and Main this morning, the roads were looking certainly a lot clearer than they were yesterday morning, albeit still snowy and icy. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Education, there will be about 50 million students attending public elementary and secondary schools this fall. Now that's a lot of supplies. The fire has burned over 300 acres. Helicopters have been making their rounds, battling the blaze as long as I've been here. It's been very windy, I could tell you that, and that has some residents concerned. Holsters like the one I'm wearing are very common for concealed weapons. Handguns can be tucked under a shirt or hidden behind a jacket. If you're going to celebrate Halloween in a neighborhood, it's important to remember to cross the street carefully at the corners and always walk on a sidewalk or a path when they're available. Orlinda, Detective Captain Andy Knight told me it's been a full-time job trying to solve these crimes at Mountain Hot Club and several other businesses. He also told me some tips on how to keep your business and home secure. Checking your oil level before any long-distance trip is also a good rule of thumb. You don't want your car engine to seize in that long highway stretch in the middle of nowhere. You can prevent the spread of these contagious illnesses by a good old-fashioned hand washing. Do it frequently with soap. Now, the Story Mansion event goes on until 8 tonight, so there's still plenty of time to haunt the neighborhood. I don't have a costume on right now, but I'm very tempted to get some candy before it's over. Reporting live in Bozeman, Josh Kristianto, NBC Montana. New information since we first told the story online, how police rescued a Polson woman held captive for 11 days. Now, the State Attorney General's office says the case could be tied to human trafficking. Here's what we know so far. Get ready to break out your blue and gold this weekend. It's homecoming for Montana State University in Bozeman. That will mean some road closures come Friday and Saturday. Police rushed to this quiet neighborhood around 5:30 this morning. That's when they got a call from a man who said he was the victim's ex-husband. Court documents say that man told him he'd gotten a text from the suspect that he had killed 37-year-old Darcy Buman. Police say they found her dead in her bedroom closet.
It's really terrifying, honestly, and this is such like a family neighborhood. There's so many kids, and just the fact that this can happen while we're sleeping and just right down the street, it's terrifying. It's really scary.
Prosecutors painted the suspect as a violent man. He said she'd taken out a restraining order against Fagiano just last month. Court papers say an officer found Fagiano smoking a cigarette outside the Law and Justice Center. Police say that's when Fagiano told an officer he'd killed his girlfriend.
This is a very tragic and brutal event. Somebody said to me, this doesn't make sense. And I would absolutely agree that it's difficult to make sense of an investigation like this for all of us.
Court papers say Fagiano had planned to kill Buman for some time. Police say he stole a semi-automatic rifle from a friend a week ago and used that to shoot and kill Buman. Bozeman police recovered the weapon in a vehicle parked at the Law and Justice Center.
We currently have detectives who are on scene and doing an active investigation into this event. They'll likely be there for some time.
Fagiano is now being held in the Gallatin County Jail on a $1 million bond. Reporting in Bozeman, Josh Kristianto, NBC Montana. Protecting homes takes paramount importance as fire crews rush to the blaze burning near Belgrade Monday afternoon.
It was an all-call page for all the fire stations, so there, to some extent, there's somebody, I think, from all the agencies.
Crews set up a base camp at a nearby church, while other fire engines stationed right next to homes, a level of protection if flames get closer. The fire is mainly burning in fields right now. As far as the sheriff's office knows, no structures have been lost. Their role is to manage the residents while firefighters contain the fire.
We give the warnings out, let people know, about the fire, how close it's getting, and, kind of encourage them to get out of the area.
Firefighters have been battling the flames on the ground as well as up in the air using at least 2 helicopters and planes. In tackling big fires, a spotter plane usually directs the air tanker carrying the fire retardant where to drop their load. Here you can see a helicopter carrying what looks like water making a flyover on a hotspot on the hill. These helicopters were making rounds non-stop over this area. So far, Skinner Road is the only one closed.
There's some roads being monitored. Highway Patrol is also helping us out on some of the different county roads up here, but for the most part it's calm down a little bit.
All part of the effort to keep residents safe. Now to NBC Montana's Judith Rutana, who gives us a look into how residents near the fire are managing.
Everybody grab as much cans as you can.
There were plenty of cans, boxes, and bags of food thrown into the grocery carts Tuesday morning.
What else is something that we could use?
Kids in Michelle Anderson's second grade class progressed through the town and country in Belgrade, first for a tour, learning the ins and outs of how a store runs.
What child?
After that, they set out on what they came here to do, grab food to donate to the Gallatin Valley Food Bank, and learn a thing or two about math.
Good way for the kids to learn about money, coins, identifying them, counting them, becoming good, wise consumers.
Each student had about $19 to spend. Anderson came up with this idea about 4 years ago, and it's all part of helping reach Common Core standards. Montana Common Core standards in English and math are meant to ensure that students graduate prepared for college and the workforce. But this trip is more than just that. It's also about teaching children the value of goodness, of caring for others.
We got to take turns and grab cans and stuff, and I really just like to push the carts.
So all these kids brought in their own money to raise money for the food bank. How much did you guys raise?
$116.74.
Once the shopping was done, the group headed over to the food bank in Bozeman, where they helped unload all their donations. In total, they brought in about 260 pounds of food. One student gave $1 from a very special source.
I brought in my tooth fairy money
Why did you do that?
to be nice.
Anderson told me she loves being a teacher because of the lessons she learns, especially on days like these. Reporting in Bozeman, Kristianto, NBC Montana.